Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. We're talking about something pretty wild today. You know how we spend literally billions of dollars every single year on anti-aging stuff? We're talking supplements, skin creams, elaborate biohacking routines. But what if one of the absolute best tools for extending our healthy years is actually just sitting at your local pharmacy right now?
So we have to ask, can a common vaccine actually slow down biological aging? Today, we're unpacking a massive study from the Journals of Gerontology that looked into whether the shingles vaccine does way more than just stop a painful rash. Researchers at the University of Southern California asked a really groundbreaking question. By keeping a dormant virus asleep, could we literally hit the brakes on the fundamental molecular processes of aging?
Let's move into Section 1, the house maintenance analogy.
To really get this, think of your body like a house that needs daily upkeep. Normal biological aging? That's just your standard wear and tear over the decades. You know, the paint fades, the foundation settles, maybe the roof loses a few shingles. It's totally expected and universal. Your cells, kind of like the structural beams of your house, gradually lose their bounce as the years tick by. But what happens if you've got a hidden problem on top of all that normal aging? Well, enter the varicella zoster virus. This is the bug that gives you chickenpox as a kid and shingles when you're older. The thing is, it never actually leaves your body. It just hides out in your nervous system like a tiny plumbing leak hiding behind the drywall. And as you age, that leak constantly threatens to reactivate. Your immune system has to fight it off 24/7, and over time, that causes systemic water damage. Researchers call this chronic immune activation inflammaging. It's this persistent, low-grade inflammation that just accelerates the deterioration of the whole house.
All right, Section 2, creating a fair comparison.
Now, to prove the vaccine acts like a repair crew fixing those leaks, we first have to talk about healthy user bias. This is absolutely crucial to understand. See, people who proactively go out and get vaccines usually have higher incomes, more education, and just generally healthier habits to begin with. If we only look at the raw data, the vaccinated group is always going to look biologically younger simply because they have the resources to take better care of themselves.
To fix this, researchers pulled off a brilliant statistical balancing act called Stabilized Inverse Probability of Treatment Weights, or IPTW for short. They didn't just look at the raw data. Instead, they mathematically leveled the playing field, adjusting for income, education, lifetime smoking habits, and existing chronic conditions. Basically, they engineered a scenario where literally the only difference between the two groups of older adults was whether or not they got the shingles vaccine. Which brings us to Section 3, Molecular Signs of Aging.
So, with a completely level playing field, let's look at the actual molecular inspection results from nearly 4,000 older adults. They checked 7 distinct biological domains: cardiovascular health, neurodegeneration, various types of immunity, but zero in on those top 3 rows. They looked at inflammation, specifically things like CRP and IL-6 that your doctor might actually test for. They also measured transcriptomic aging, which tracks your gene expression, and epigenetic aging. Epigenetic clocks like Dunedin Pace and Grimage don't just count the candles on your birthday cake. They look at DNA methylation to measure how fast your body is actually degrading at a cellular level.
And wow, look at what these markers reveal. The vaccinated group had significantly lower systemic inflammation. But it gets even crazier. They showed slower epigenetic aging and slower transcriptomic aging. Let me repeat that. Their DNA and gene expression profiles were literally aging slower than their unvaccinated peers, even after adjusting for all the wealth and lifestyle stuff. The vaccine didn't just stop a rash, it strongly correlated with a biologically younger profile.
Moving right along to Section 4, the test of time.
Now, you might be wondering, does this repair job actually last? Or is it just a quick patch for a house? When researchers split the data by how long ago people got the shot, a really cool pattern popped up. In the first 3 years post-vaccination, boom, immediate improvements in those deep molecular measures of epigenetic and transcriptomic aging. But the benefits to systemic inflammation? Those actually stick around and become even more obvious past the 4-year mark.
And this perfectly illustrates the temporal data, proving that the molecular upgrades inside your cells persist way past that initial 3-year window. The reduction in overall biological aging held steady whether the person was vaccinated recently or more than 4 years prior. The vaccine actually seems to trigger a genuine, lasting recalibration of the body's aging processes.
So let's explore how this works in Section 5, Reprogramming the Immune System.
How is a shot meant for one specific virus slowing down DNA methylation clocks? Well, the secret weapon here is a concept called trained immunity. For a long time, we thought only the adaptive immune system could remember past threats. But newer science shows vaccines can actually cause long-term epigenetic reprogramming of your innate immune cells. The vaccine literally trains these first responder cells to act as a much smarter, highly efficient repair crew, dampening down all that damaging inflammaging we talked about earlier.
But, okay, plot twist. While inflammation and molecular aging improved, the adaptive immunity scores actually looked worse in the vaccinated group. Now, why would that happen? Well, researchers think this is a bit of a quirk in how we measure immune aging. See, the expansion of beneficial immune memory cells, which is exactly what you want a vaccine to do, can look a heck of a lot like immune exhaustion on a standard blood test. Basically, we might just need better metrics to tell the difference between a finely tuned, vaccine-trained immune system and one that's just old and tired.
Finally, let's look at Section 6, the future of aging.
When we step back and look at the fully repaired house, the implications for your doctor and longevity research are just massive. This quote from the researchers represents a total clinical paradigm shift. For decades, we've viewed vaccines just as infection blockers, right? You take them so you don't get acutely sick. But this data suggests they might be powerful, system-wide anti-aging tools. By stopping the chronic stress of latent viruses, we're basically giving our bodies permission to invest energy into basic cellular maintenance.
So, I want to leave you with a fascinating thought. While Silicon Valley is out there chasing million-dollar gene therapies and crazy life extension protocols, could our very best anti-aging treatments already be sitting right there in our local pharmacies? By simply stopping old viruses from waking up and causing internal wear and tear, we might be giving our cells exactly the peace and quiet they need to stay young. What do you think? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions and stay curious.